Thank you for listening to the Black Delegates Podcast. Rate, review, share.
Yo, Herb, take it from the top. 1, 2. My mic sound nice. Check 1. My mic sound nice. Check 2. My mic sound nice. Check 3. Are you ready?
Welcome to the Black Delegates Podcast. Today's date is January the 10th, 2021. We're on episode 140. I am your host, the Black Ryan. I am here. I think I'm here. We could be in an alternate dimension with my co-host, Boxwine Poppy.
Yo, man, I'm still alive. How about you?
I'm alive, I think. I could be in a coma right now. Who knows? Ghetto Phenom.
2021, I made it. I'm here.
All right.
Really?
That's what's up. All right. So every day seems, I don't know, a little bit worse than the last, or at least on the same level of bad things happening every 24 hours, I feel like. So we took a couple weeks off, or it seemed like a few weeks off, and I appreciate it because it was nice not to have any responsibilities. So, besides work and all that.
And I will say to the listeners who are disappointed, because if you remember the last episode, I was like, Black Delegates don't take breaks. We're going to be here. And the Black Ryan was like, I'm not going to be here. So, and you see the world went to hell in a handbasket when the Black Delegates don't podcast.
Word.
So we will try not to take breaks anymore so that the world can stay afloat.
Man,
We
missed out on so much content in the last 2 weeks. It's crazy.
Now, keep in mind, I did this week because this week was so crazy. I was just like, yo, if y'all want to pod like right now, like we can go ahead and do it. So nobody said that they wanted to do that. So I was like, cool, I will continue on with life. But yes, every day more and more was happening. And I was like, dang, we need to podcast this.
Well, let's do it. We're here now.
Yeah, we're here now. So we're going to talk about what we got to talk about. Let's get straight into This Week in Blackness. Boxwine, as usual, you're going to go first. How was your weeks in brownness?
Weeks in Browns was trash. We didn't do anything before Christmas, right? Last one before Christmas, right?
We did right up to it.
Okay, yeah. Christmas was garbage, like usual. Nothing going on here, man. Nothing special. We just hung out here. Kids got the little presents and whatever like that running around. And I'm already sick of all this stuff, man. I'm ready to take all this stuff and throw it in the trash, man. Yeah. And that's it, man. New Year's, we didn't go anywhere. Literally have nothing, no stories because we literally did nothing, man. I just went out, try to keep my sanity. The kids were home. Our kids' school got closed down this week. He's supposed to go back tomorrow. But yes, at the last minute, we got an extra week of vacation put on us. And I was like, oh man, I go back to work, deal with the kid. This is not cool. And on top of that, the whole world's blowing up. So I'm like, really want to check out the news and stuff like that. But no, I got to go play with the kids and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I didn't do much of nothing, man, at all. I got the Phenoms Christmas card. We can make some jokes about that card. I got that.
Okay,
I got that. Phenom, only Black delegation member on the mantle that sent us Christmas card. We got about 20, 30 Christmas cards. Only Black delegation person, you, which is pretty weird. But no, it was a good card, man.
I had to go full Jack Bauer investigative skills to find your address. I didn't want to ask you.
You could have just asked me.
So I had to do
right? That's what you're supposed to do, right?
A deep Google search. I had to go on the dark web.
You use my government name.
Right, but we got it.
All good, man. It was a good picture. It's in the trash now, but it's good now. It was good for that week and a half. It was good.
Right.
Yeah, let the record show that my wife had a hard time throwing it away. But she was just like, we got to get rid of these cards. I hate that it's not on like photo paper or I would keep it. She's like, it's even got these cool pictures on the back, little emoji people. And I was like, babe, throw that away. I was like, it'll be all right. They understand. It was probably like 2 cents a page or something.
Fam, look, look. So the mail, like y'all been talking about, like with eBay and stuff like that. The mail been coming late. We had a couple Christmas cards that came in, kind of like Phenoms, and they came in after Christmas. I was like, oh, this is so nice. I hung up. I put it on the mail for like 2 minutes. Like, all right, I stole the trash now. including my bosses. That was a little weird, man. So yeah, I felt bad about that. But hey, man, after Christmas, I don't want to see none of this stuff. I still got to take out Christmas decorations. outside. I'm not looking forward to that. I got to do it tomorrow, actually. But whatever, man. Yeah, Christmas is trash. New Year's is trash. Looking forward to 2021. I got some family members that got the vaccine, including my stepmom got both doses already. So, man, little golf clap to that. And yeah, man, hopefully this year's better. No, resolution is to be the same old trash me, which is like I always do. And yeah, that's it, man. What about you? Who wants to go next?
I'll jump in since you're talking about me and, with the Christmas card. So I mailed that probably about a week and a half before Christmas. So it's funny that you got it afterwards. I'm not surprised.
No, it came the day before or 2 days before. It was like right then.
Oh, okay. So you got it before. Yeah, my homie, Mike, shout out to him. I sent one to him in Atlanta, and he got his. He just texted me a couple days ago saying they had just gotten it. So USPS is trash. I do have one story about USPS. So I don't know if I talked about it on the pod before. I probably did, about selling this watch and it getting lost by USPS. Does that sound familiar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So what ended up happening with that, it finally came back. So my mail carrier,
back to you.
Yeah, she brought it. I knocked on my door, rang the doorbell, and she had the package. And I had been waiting for it. And so she's like, yeah, we got this return. And she was like, but the person who you sent it to opened it. So because they opened it and returned the sender, you have to pay for it again.
Dang.
And so I was like, what? And so she's like, yeah, you got to pay for it. Otherwise, or you could just forfeit it. Now, this was an Apple Watch that I sold, so I'm not about to forfeit
Not for the forfeit, right.
And I'm hoping that the person put it in there. She just had the package. She didn't give it to me. So I'm like, man, I hope this thing is still in here because I knew whoever got it opened it. So I had to go to the ATM because who carries cash anymore? And get that.
Wait a minute. I thought everybody had cash. Skrilla.
Hey, I got my $2 bills that I told you I'll keep in my wallet. That was about it. So I went to the ATM. I think it was like $13 and change or something. Gave her that. She gives me the package back. Thankfully, the Apple Watch was in the package, but I figured out what happened. So when I took it, I wrote the address on the envelope. Usually I'll tape it on there on a piece of paper, but it was one of those padded envelopes with lines on it. So I just wrote it on there, wrote it in marker. It was big. It was clear. They printed a priority label with the wrong address on there. So they sent it to the wrong, but it didn't match the address that was written on there. And then they covered up the one I wrote. So long story short, it was their fault that it got lost. I had to go back to the post office to try to get a refund. That took like an hour. They refunded me what I paid at the post office, but they wouldn't refund me what I paid to my mail carrier. They're like, you got to go to your local post office to get that because we don't have a receipt for that. And I'm like, there's a note on here with a stamp from that post office. They're like, nope, we're going to give you this $13.65, but you got to go back to that post office to get the other $13.65. So,
yo, I didn't know that you could hand money to the mail carrier.
Yeah, well, they're like COD. They still do cash on delivery, and that's
really
what it is. Like you have to pay the mail
carrier. I've never seen that. Okay, well, that's cool, I guess.
So that was a double trash thing because I had to go to the post office twice that day, and it took forever. And I finally got my little $27 back for that whole melee. The other thing that is kind of a negative today, y'all know I go to church like every other week to help the video stuff. Right. Today was my day at church. All of a sudden, my wife shoots me a text. She's like, hey, if you get a chance, check your car because somebody was breaking in cars in the lot. And sure enough, I looked out the window where my car was. It looked fine. But one of the deacons kind of showed me on his phone because we got cameras up there. Somebody drove up like to the back lot of the church, hopped out of their car and was just checking the car doors. And I guess I know at least one person. I don't know if it was more than one or not. At least one person had his car unlocked, and they stole a bunch of stuff out of it. So,
Yo, that's a special hell when you be robbing churches or anything like that, man. I don't know who these people are, but we're in a different world right now.
Man, times is hard out there, man. People getting desperate, man. I mean, we've had my neighborhood, like there's literally nothing that goes on, but like a few months ago, there was like a couple break-ins. Supposedly, like somebody's car got stolen, something like that. But it happens, man. There's just roving little gangs, man. They go around and hit up neighborhoods. If your car out of the street, or they'll go test it, man. It's just how it is nowadays. In the parking lot, that's easy. That's easy pickings right there because they can go through 10, 12 cars real quick.
yeah.
So, yeah, man. Sad.
And I'm always vigilant about, locking my car doors, and I'll get on my wife. Occasionally I might, just check her door and it'll open, and I'm like, yo, you got to lock the car doors. Cause even on Nextdoor, I always see people on Nextdoor. Oh, people are checking car doors on so-and-so street. People are checking car doors on so-and-so. But to see that happen, especially at a church. And I'm like, dude, you trash. And like I said, they drove up to it, so it wasn't like it's a homeless person just walking around. Like, I don't know. So that kind of irked me. Other thing, so New Year's, we haven't potted since the New Year's. So New Year's, me and the wife, we stayed at home. I did say, I was like, all right, what are we going to do for New Year's? I was like, I think I was looking on my phone at something, and I saw an ad for Moet. I was like, I never had Moet. Like, Moet is some bougie stuff. That's like $200 in the club. I ain't never afforded no Moet, but it was less than $50. So I was like, you know what? Me and the wife staying home. We not really doing anything, not spending no money. It's like, I'm going to get some Moet because I never had it. And let me say, my review, that Moet is kind of fire. So shout out to Moet. Me and the wife popped a bottle to ring in the New Year. We spent it at home, just sitting watching TV, trying to dodge all the gunshots that were busting off in the neighborhood. But other than that, that was about it. Last thing I'll say, and I'll try to be brief.
Man, you had to know any alcohol that Biggie rapped about had to be worth something, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised as an alcohol drinker that you didn't try.
You also read about Boone's Farm, and if you've had, I've been drunk on Boone's Farm before. Let's just.
Yeah, Biggie did rap about some struggle liquor too. So,
yeah.
But no, I mean, like I said, I've never been a big, especially like expensive liquor. Like, nah, I'm not getting the basement bottom of the barrel stuff. But I'm not spending a whole lot of money. But I was like, even if I drink bourbon or something like that, like bourbon, if you get a decent Scotch or bourbon, it can be around $50 or something like that. So I was like, Moet's like $48, $47, something like that. I was like, I'll try it. And,
the difference though, you got the Met, you got to drink it. Then it ain't gonna taste good like in a cup. Like the bourbon, you can put that away for years if you want. But Moet, like it's a one and done type thing.
Yeah, it was good.
And we got to keep in mind, Ryan has no clue what we're talking about on any of this stuff because he's never.
Oh, I wasn't even listening. I'm scrolling through Facebook right now. I was like, maybe sure I'm not missing any other stories.
Did you do anything cool with when he popped it open, Phenom? Did you shoot it all over your own face? I'm listening.
No, did I do the Dwight Howard? No, I didn't. Or no, that was Chris Bosh, the Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
No, we didn't do that. But
okay.
The last thing, I'm going to give a shout out to Best Buy. I done filled y'all in on this story, but fill in the listeners. So the wife, again, that package I sold was an Apple Watch because her old Apple Watch was like breaking out her wrist. And so I sold that. She got a couple of Google watches, didn't like those. So we ended up going back to a different Apple Watch, just like a different material, the stainless steel joint. And so I bought that mug from Best Buy. All of a sudden, like 2 days later, the price dropped like $130. I was like, yo,
wow.
Like, no, like I'm about to either take this mug back. And so I looked on their pricing policy, and it said, like, if the price drops on something within the return period, they will give you the difference. And so I had to go up to Best Buy and try to get that. I had to go twice because the first time, like Apple's weird because if you buy a phone or a watch or anything, you have to tie it to your Apple account. If it's tied to your Apple account, they can't do the refund. So it was like the first day didn't work. I tried to go on my lunch, so I didn't have a ton of time. That didn't work. But I went back on Saturday. Lady was able to kind of troubleshoot through the problem. She kind of went above and beyond and ran me my money back. So shout out to Best Buy for honoring that little price system and putting $130 back in my pocket.
Nice.
So that's all I got. What about you, Ryan?
All right, so I guess a lot have been going on. Yes, we didn't talk about Christmas. I'm gonna say Christmas was cool. Nothing really special happened. Same old, same old. I want to keep it low key here. Spent mad time making.
Jesus?
Huh?
Said
So
nothing
what?
special. Not even the birth of baby Jesus. Wow.
Come on now, you know what I mean. Don't do me like that. I love Christ. But I did spend that morning putting together a dollhouse that my mom bought for Avery. So I didn't. The dollhouse is huge, man. It's like 3 floors, and then it's like 3 widths long too. So there was no way that I could like secretly put that together and then bring it in the room. I don't think, and I didn't want to chance it. I thought it was a little too wide. It'll probably fit through the door if I forced it, but I didn't want to try to turn that mug around the corner. It looked like it might be a problem. So I waited and then put it together, that morning. So that took hella long. And of course, because my name is Ryan, did it wrong the first time, end up having to take it apart because the top piece, like the first piece I put on wrong, like one of the floors, I had to go back because there was 2 pieces I had to take off and flip them because they were on the wrong side of the house.
That's what you get for not reading the instructions, fam. Always
I read the instructions. I just put it on wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to, when you're dealing with something that big and it looks the same on all 3 sides, like, yo, how am I supposed to know which side is which? And I just mixed up the parts and faced them out the wrong way. But in order to fix it, you have to take the whole dang on thing apart. So I basically built the house twice, but that's okay. I got it back on there. So, and she hasn't played with it since. So,
Hey,
none of these new kids.
Hey, same here, man. I bought these kids a bunch of toys, like a big old like playhouse, like it sits in a little corner, like a little Fisher Price thing. And yeah, touch it like the first 2 days, and like the next 2-3 weeks, nothing. Crickets. Man.
What's wrong with these kids, man? Like, I think they just have too much. Like, maybe I should just get rid of everything, and then you'll have fun playing with a box because that's all you got.
Word.
I mean, now they be telling me they can't figure out what they want to watch on TV. Yo, everything's on TV. I don't know what to watch.
Everything. Literally everything.
I mean, I think a lot of kids are so used to digital entertainment that I think anything physical, the dollhouse or little toys and stuff like that, like they just don't hold their interest like that. And kids are weird anyway. I mean, they're gonna play with stuff like crazy one day and then they can set it down and forget about it another. I know I was listening to another podcast where they were saying this Ghost and Big G, and he was saying Big G got his son the Xbox, and it was still sitting right where he opened it up, and he hadn't even played it. So what? That's the nature of kids, I guess.
Yo, I ain't finna buy you nothing that expensive, and you ain't touched it. That mug is gonna be on eBay. Player.
That's basically what he said. He's gonna give him another week. And
that's Daddy's Christmas gift. Then that's what happens.
Yeah, right. Either I'm gonna play it or it's gonna be gone.
Facts.
But so other than that, then New Year's, I had a chill New Year's Eve. I actually just devoted that to just really enjoying the family. Mm-hmm. So we played a lot of board games and stuff. We played the stupid headbands game where you everybody got a card on their headband thing, and you got to pick. Like you have to figure out who is on your headband. Mm-hmm. It's like a Disney thing.
It was an episode of The Office. It was an episode of Office.
Oh, was it? Okay. I wasn't sure if everybody knew or what. So it's not something I've played but a couple of times with the kids because I had to show them how to do it. But that was the first time I really sat down and played. And so that was fun. Trenton killed us. He smashed us like 4 games in a row. And I thought for sure I could win. But apparently I ain't seen all the Disney movies. I don't know when they saw it, but apparently the daycare must be getting it in for them. So
Now, does
they
the
know all the
family
movies.
have Nike headbands? Were they using Nike headbands for this game?
Oh man, the headbands come in the box as little Mickey Mouse ears,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
Thought you might have went to
So, but
custom.
it's called headbands. No, not this time. So New Year's came in. Of course, it's Beirut over here. I didn't realize people are still doing this. I know I probably said this last year and the year before that, but y'all got to stop shooting guns in the air. It's the dumbest thing in the world. But apparently, I get maybe you got a lot of pent up frustration. You don't know what to do with it. You got all these bullets. You never get to shoot this gun. So you just want to pop off. But
You much bullets
it's
are worth right
crazy.
now. Bullets are crazy expensive.
That too. That's why I was like, why are you wasting them? Like,
Yeah.
just at least sell them or just keep them. Hey, the end is coming soon. You might as well have them to use.
Word.
But I heard all kinds of guns, man, and the whole Call of Duty roster was out there shooting.
I cannot remember the last time I heard gunshots on Christmas. Maybe also because I'm probably asleep by like 9:30 on New Year's Day. But
It sounded like thunder when I had my windows down and closed. And I was like, why does it sound like thunder? But it wasn't stopping. Like it was not intermittent like normal thunder is. So I'm like, let me open this window. And yeah, it's just like the far away roar of gunshots. I mean, there's some that was popping off nearby, but for the most part, it just sounded like it was far away. But it still sounded like a roar of thunder.
yeah,
Weird.
it's a weird tradition, man. Just I don't know where it got started. It's unnecessary, really.
Right. I my birthday then was on the 2nd. So I got to chill for the birthday. I really thank you. I was not trying to do nothing for my birthday, man. It's the first time I was just like, I don't even want nobody to say nothing about it necessarily. Like I didn't want, just a bunch of random people being like, happy birthday. So I wasn't going to say nothing about it. I wasn't finna do nothing. All is well. But I did notice my brother did not contact me at all about my birthday. I was just like, dude, what's up with that? I'll be going out my way like I'm not even going to send a text on people's birthdays. I'm going to call them because I want them to know how personal this is and how important it is to me for them to hear my voice on their day. And I don't nobody care.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, my niece didn't even get this on Christmas, man. And I just gave her a car, a whole car.
Oh yeah. It be like that, man. I guess everybody got their own little circle of people that they dealing with. So, it is what it is. But I don't know. I don't forget my siblings' birthdays. That's all I got to say. I end up doing some projects around the house that of late. I got some bookshelves that are built into the wall. And so I wanted to light those because I got my figures on them. And it's just been too dark over there and none of my recessed lighting really reaches in there the way I want it to. So I did just buy some LED strips and ran the wires through there. So I had to drill a bunch of holes and all that kind of stuff. But ended up looking pretty good. So I'm happy got that done. Wife got a vaccine, first part of the vaccine the other day, Friday. So that was cool. She, for whatever reason, has been scared. And I've been telling her like, yo, you rather get COVID or you rather get whatever these temporary side effects are. Just get the virus because you really the main hole in our defense over here right now. Like get this, and so when people start coming in, at least you be taken care of and be safe. So she got that done.
But that was the first one though.
Second neck. Has she grown a second neck? Or
she did not. She didn't bite my throat or anything like that in the middle of the night. She was normal. It's been a couple of days now, so no issues. I mean, she was saying she had a little bit of joint pain yesterday. But other than that, she's been good. And I told her it's probably just because you're old. I mean, all the complaints she was saying is stuff that she normally complains about.
And so she got to go back in 3 weeks to get the last one, the second one.
Right. So she got or however long it is, a month. She gave me a date. But yeah, it's set. She'll go back and get it, and then we'll be through with it.
Man, yeah. Go ahead. I need tell her to steal some from me. That's what I need.
Right. I wanted us to get off on this Black Bachelor and all that kind of stuff, but so much stuff happened, man. We're not gonna be able to make fun of that dude probably this episode, unfortunately.
That show not going anywhere. Don't worry, it'll be on in a few weeks.
Right. So I guess I do want to point you out to Netflix, the Ma Rainey story on Netflix. It's a play that they have converted into a movie. Check that out. It's got Chadwick Boseman in it, which I believe this was his last performance. And of course, he killed it like he always do. That dude has represented every black person of importance ever in Black history.
Like Jackie Robinson, James Brown. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Every biopic.
I watched the James Brown movie too. He was good in that. And so my wife has been going on this, watching all of his movies. So I definitely was like, I wanted to watch this Ma Rainey anyway. I had no idea who the lady was, but man, she was dope. So that was a cool movie. So check
Like
it out.
a musical?
It's not a musical. It's just about musicians. She was like the first blues singer.
Okay, but they're not doing
In the
so they're
South.
like okay, gotcha. You know how some plays are and stuff like that. I can't get into any. I can't
No. It's not like that. You can watch it. It's basically just a story of her trying to record her album.
Gotcha.
Kind of.
I'll add that to the list of things I will never actually ever watch. But yeah,
Right. I'm finna say you ain't watching nothing I've said watch. So not looking forward to it. All right. So I'm gonna end there. And so everybody was like, 2021 is our year. We're gonna pull out all this. Come to find out, 2021 is just the director's cut of 2020. Things are exactly the same, but longer. So we made it this far, kind of. And for a little while, it was kind of cool, I guess. And we finally out of it. And then same old. So I don't know where we want to start. I guess we have to start with the biggest event of 2021, right? Or is there something else y'all want to start with?
Whatever, man. How you want to do it, man? Let's just get into it.
Okay, let's talk about this storming of the Capitol. So we know we've been having these issues with Georgia's votes. So they were doing a runoff election, so they had to pick who the senator was. They were voting in a senator and a congressman, right?
No, two senators.
Two senators, okay. And that would also decide their electoral college, right?
No, they decide who has control of the Senate.
Or no? Okay, just the Senate. Okay. So that was the biggest story there. And so that has become this big circus because there's been a whole bunch of Trump saying that people are still in the vote and stop the steal, blah, 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 blah. I kind of started ignoring him because I was like, what you going to do, man? You're not going to do nothing. You're just whining like a baby. But apparently his followers did not. Georgia was able to vote in both Democratic senators for the first time ever, including the first black senator ever. They said in the South. Is that still correct?
That can't be right because
somebody had to be black.
There's a black senator. He's a Republican, but he's in South Carolina. Tim Scott. So that don't make no sense. But whatever.
Yeah, I know they were saying it was in Georgia history, and then somebody else said in the South. So I wasn't sure which was the case. I didn't go back to fact check it after they said it the first time. It's crazy that 2020 is the first black all these things. That's as much as we talk about pull yourself up by your bootstraps. 2020. We still have these issues. Yeah, 2021, we still have these same issues where we being the first black people to do stuff.
Yeah. And I will fact check you a little bit, Ryan.
Okay.
Although the Georgia runoffs or special elections, whatever you want to call it, I mean, they definitely did have an impact on what happened at the Capitol, the storm in the Capitol or the insurrection or the coup attempt, whatever you want to call it. But really, that was going to happen anyway. It really wasn't even tied to the Georgia issues. What it was is that was the day that the Electoral College votes were going to be certified. So Donald Trump and a lot of conservative people had said, they had told their base, hey, come to D.C. on, January 6th, because they wanted to disrupt the certification process for the Electoral College. So whether or not Georgia happened, they were going to be there, and that was going to happen on some level because Trump really was trying to get Mike Pence to somehow kind of block the certification of the Electoral College, but there really was no mechanism to do so. Like all that the Senate or the Congress does is count the votes. Like the votes have already been cast.
Right.
They're literally just counting them, saying this is good, this is the winner.
Yeah, but
So
if
it wasn't directly related to Georgia, but I think the Georgia win definitely kind of turned the notch up of the racists and the neo-Nazis and all of that.
maybe so, but it's crazy, man. If the Democrats didn't control the House, they could have done whatever they wanted to, man. They literally could have. I mean, it really just talking about like an extra. If they had like an extra 20 representatives in the House of Delegates, and they would have controlled the Senate, they would have controlled the House, and they could have changed all this around, man. They could literally just like, no, we don't trust it. We're leaving that guy in. I mean, that's how close this thing was, man. It's really kind of crazy.
Could they though? Like to what extent? They probably could have slowed the process down.
Control the House?
Say it again.
You said who could have controlled all of that?
If the Republicans had controlled the House and the Senate, they have the Senate. I mean, that's where all the objections come. They could have obstructed all this if they just had, but they didn't have the House. That was the difference.
I think they could probably slow it up, but I don't think there's any. There's no, as far as I know, there's nothing in the Constitution that says that you can ever be over your term, your 4 years.
But if they sit there and say like, "Hey, this stuff is invalid and invalidated," then the dude wins, then they throw it back over there, and they got the Supreme Court too.
They might be able to go to the Supreme Court and try.
Supreme Court
would have to do some bull too.
Okay, but
it'd be a lot of strings to be pulling.
You know, Clarence Thomas's wife was helping to organize that rally on the 6th, right? I mean, so like this ain't too far fetched, man. It really isn't.
Well, it is. I mean, yeah, they said Clarence Thomas' wife was cheering and she was amped and she, I guess, played some role in organizing or at least encouraging people to come. But the thing is if it was that simple, I mean, look at the Trump organization or his administration. I mean, they filed like 66 or 70 lawsuits challenging the votes in different states, and
they all got thrown.
And they lost like everyone. I think one case, kind of won to the next level, but all the rest of them were thrown out. And even in the Supreme Court, they listened to at least two of them. At least they didn't try the case or they didn't hear the case, but they kind of examined whether or not that they were going to look at it. And they said, nah, we're not even looking at this. So I don't think the Supreme Court is in his pocket that much. Otherwise, in those instances, they would have kind of had his back. But it was so ridiculous legally, like there's just no evidence, no legal standing whatsoever. I mean, he clearly just made this crap up because he lost and he didn't want to take the L. So I don't think the Supreme Court would have given it to him, even if the House and the Senate were Republican, because it's just so outrageous.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's fast forward to the real.
I was going to say, but let's get to the real story, which is what everybody want to talk about. Is I was sitting here. I took a little short vacay to chill around the house, do what I want to do. So I'm like, let me sit down. Let me see what's going on with this Senate race in Georgia. I turn on whatever little streaming news I got, probably CBS or something. And they like, oh, first black senator. And then the other dude got elected too. And I was like, oh, cool. So they actually got control, it's a tie now though, right? No? Because they really have control.
Kamala Harris has, she's the tiebreaker. So they have
it's a tie 50-50.
Very marginal control though.
Harris is the she has
okay.
a tiebreaker. So
they can't go crazy. They can't go crazy, but they do have power.
And that, all right, that's fine. So I was like, all right, cool. We got a little even split, or at least it's not a landslide either way. Fine. And then next thing I know, I'm seeing all these people gathered around the Capitol building. I'm like, what is going on right now? And, the people are like, oh my God, people are storming in the Capitol building and they've broken windows and doors. And I'm like, what? What is going on? I'm on the group chat. I'm typing. Nobody's responding. Boxwine Poppy is nowhere to be found. Phenom is nowhere to be found. Did y'all catch a plane ticket to go storm the Capitol building? What happened? I can't verify your whereabouts during this time. How do you explain yourselves?
I may or may not have a gavel from No, I don't, man. No, man, I was out, man, just crazy. Back at work, man. Work is crazy. So like I was leading a conference call or a meeting while it was all going on. So I could see my phone going off, and like I saw it was like the group, and I just put it on like do not disturb, and I was like, I'm gonna have to just see what's going on when I get done with an hour or something like that. And I put it back on, and then I was like, okay, I kind of got a gist of what was going on. So and I knew, I was kind of following the news that morning anyway, or that day, because I knew they were going to be deliberating. I want to see how it kind of went, the little speeches or whatever like that. And then I was like, oh man, everything's going to hell in a handbasket. And yeah, man, I mean, just seeing the stuff we see at the time, you didn't really, you kind of said like, okay, well, they're all in there, and now they're but everybody's left, and now they kind of leaving, but they didn't get nobody. But now you kind of seen the stories, and man, it could have been really bad in there, yo. It could have. I mean, if there had been congressmen in the hallways when they came in there, it could have been. I think it would have been a bloodbath, yo. I mean, real talk.
Or if the police had pulled their weapons and actually fired because they were within their rights and nobody really would have said anything. I worry that had escalated things. But
yeah.
What'd you think about it, Phenom? What was your excuse? Were you storming the Capitol building?
No, well, as I explained to y'all, but I'll explain to the listeners. So I was actually in a meeting with my boss, and so we were in this meeting or whatever, so I wasn't paying attention to my phone whatsoever. And as we were finishing up, he looked down at his phone and he was like, oh, people are storming the Capitol. And so because, I follow politics pretty closely, and I knew everything that was going on, especially with Georgia and with that day being the certification of votes. I expected mass protest and I expected some level of violence. I didn't expect what happened, but I knew people were going to be protesting outside of the Capitol. And so when he said that, that's just what I assumed. I was like, oh, I think I said that. I was like, oh, yeah, especially with Georgia, you knew people were going to come out and, protest and act a fool. And so that was about it. So when I left, so he's in a different building that I'm in. So I left that meeting and I kind of looked on Twitter and I saw, people talking about it. And I was like, well, let me grab some lunch. So I grabbed some lunch. So I didn't actually see the video until I got back to my office. I had read about it a little bit. I saw some pictures, but again, I'm just thinking like this is what we've been doing for the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years is protesting, whatever, whether it's Black Lives, whether it's the right wing, like it's protest after protest. So I just thought that's what it was. But once I got back to my computer and, was able to look up like CNN and other news sources and saw the video, I was like, oh, yeah, this is something different. Like this is a coup attempt. And Ryan, you disagreed with that term. I don't know if that's changed at all now. You kind of took issue with it being called a coup. Is that still the case, or are you still sticking to that?
Yeah, and like I said on the group chat, I do think it's semantic, so I don't want to argue about it too much. But the word coup is just a stronger word. Like we see coups in other countries, and they involve branches of military and high up officials, and they're all aligned to do something. They rolling out tanks. They got army people trying to take control of whatever, and that was not the case. It didn't get to that point of an insurrection. But I do understand if you say coup, what you mean by it. I just don't think it was to that level. That's all.
There were military dudes in there. That's one military dude to another. There were some military cats up in there.
There were military guys. There were police officers.
There were active.
But
not. They didn't have uniforms on. They weren't uniformed.
No, but they had gear on, helmets, tactical vests, weapons. I mean, dude, we didn't even talk about this. Man, they found bombs. Somebody had bombs.
Yeah, I saw the Molotov cocktails. They had some pipe bombs.
They had zip tie handcuffs. Man, this is the
crazy.
Real,
yeah. So. And that's the reason where I'm like, definitely to me, I'm like, that's a coup. You're right. It wasn't sort of military sponsored, although they're investigating whether there were any military or Capitol Police or law enforcement was kind of in on it, because you see videos where the officers there kind of move out the way and open the gates and like, hey, go in. And of course, everybody's seen the picture of the cop taking the selfie or the cop leading the lady down. So there definitely was some law enforcement involvement on the side of the insurrection.
Not to mention you got people that were supporting all this stuff inside on inside the building. So who knows what they told him? But it was crazy. I mean, they found Senator Pelosi, Congressman Pelosi's office real quick, didn't they? It's kind of amazing. It's a huge building. How you find all that fast? Get in her office. Just think about it. They smeared poop on the walls. They did damage. They stole stuff. Man, look, that's the biggest security breach. Look, man, we want to talk about Hillary Clinton and all her emails like that, man. Look, these people got up in here and took laptops. There's no telling what was on those computers, iPhones, tablets, what have you in there. It's all kinds of
even just paperwork out in the chambers.
I saw
some people taking pictures of paperwork.
It's not only just a big security lab. It's the biggest security, cyber security weakness in history, man. Right there. That just letting a bunch of dudes know who they are, what they got. Walk up in there, know what they took, man, and we probably never know, man.
And they were in there for hours too. It was like 2 hours.
Yeah,
they were in there just running, taking pictures, picking up podiums, and sitting in the speaker's chair, and all of that. And the
real issue was the National Guard, because at one point I know they were saying like, oh, they're trying to get authorization for the National Guard, and I'm like, who authorized that? The president? He ain't finna come back on it and say authorize it. So it came back, and then they were like, it was denied, and then they came back later and said, okay, National Guard is getting ready to come in.
I read a story that was like the Secretary of Defense and somebody, and maybe somebody in Pence's team, but they basically went around the president to get it done because Trump wouldn't. Do y'all think Trump sent this? Everybody in government was there except for Trump, and Trump sent them dudes there. He said he was going to march with them, didn't go. Do y'all think he was really setting them to get killed, man? What do y'all think?
No.
Sending who to get killed? The protesters?
Sending the
insurrectionists,
the congressman, sending them to get the congressman, the Mike Pence over there to get killed. They were talking about hang Mike Pence. They said Trump ain't even talked to that man since. They said Trump has not talked to Pence, which is wild.
I think with Trump, Trump doesn't care what happens to people. He wanted, number one, he wanted the show of force in his name. He felt like, okay, whatever these people do, they're doing it for me. They love me. I don't think he cares whether the people were killed or not. He wanted whatever needed to happen for him to stay into office. He was down with whatever. And when you talked about Pelosi earlier, I don't know if y'all heard the story. There was a guy who they ended up finding his truck. He had 12 bombs and a bunch of guns in his truck. And they said that he was texting people earlier that morning, if I get the chance, I'm going to kill Nancy Pelosi. I'm going to put a bullet in her head, I think is what he said. And so to me, stories like that shows that, these people really were trying to cause mass carnage and take over the government. This dude had guns, had bombs, was able to get into that chamber. And Trump is the one who set it all up. Trump literally was like, yo, we're going to march to the Capitol right now, and we're going to tell them, you better do what I say. You know what I'm saying? And if Mike Pence doesn't participate, well, we're not going to like it. He set that all in motion. And there's a point in time where you hear the rioters, the criminals, chanting, hang Mike Pence, because he didn't block that certification like Trump wanted. So they were screaming, hang Mike Pence. You better believe if Mike Pence had walked out at that point in time, it was going to be all bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
That cop, did y'all see that cop who got, who ended up getting killed? They dragged him out and beat him. Initially, I read with a fire extinguisher, but when I saw the actual video, they were hitting that dude with everything, flag poles.
Really?
It said that dude was a Trump supporter too.
They just busting this dude over the head.
Oh man,
everything is crazy.
So blue lives didn't matter?
Oh, absolutely not.
That's my thing, man. All this is just exposes all the contradictions, all the hypocrisy, all kinds of things like that, man. Yeah, but that dude, I feel bad for that cop, man. I feel bad for the cop, but man, he was a Trump. They said his family said he was a Trump supporter, voted for Trump in 2016. Then 4 years later, you're getting killed by a mob of his supporters, man. That's some wild stuff right there.
So Phenom, you have participated in a few marches here in St. Louis, particularly on New Florissant Road. And I mentioned in the group chat, I stated, had this happened on New Florissant Road, there would have been so many cops and tanks and snipers that nothing would have been able to get through. So what you saw on New Florissant Road, how did it compare to what you saw at the Capitol building when people were pretty much proclaiming that they were going to do this in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, there was no comparison. And I think every black person or person of color that I know kind of said the same thing when it happened. Like everybody sent that text at some point. It was like, well, if this would have been black people, it would have been different. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's facts. If you look at, I don't know, was that last year or I guess this was early 2020.
2020.
When black people were protesting, I think, the death of George Floyd, and police, showed up in force. I mean, it was tear gas. They were shooting rubber bullets. Like,
yeah,
I forget how many people they said got arrested, but it was
SWAT gears, shields, all that stuff.
Yeah, it was like 100 or 200 people, got arrested. And I mean, they were just kind of brutalized from the very beginning. And they were there to protest the unjust death of someone. And it wasn't, people weren't showing up armed. Everybody didn't have some type of weapon. They didn't have zip ties. They didn't have firearms, tasers. Like people were just literally coming saying, hey, stop killing us. And they were just met with a violent resistance. Like I said, when I was protesting in Ferguson, like there was one day when I was up there where literally the cops were in their little armored vehicles pointing assault rifles and this is a peaceful protest. Nobody doing, right. They just pointing guns at kids for like 6-7 hours straight. And you get to this protest or this, riot, insurrection, where they knew it was coming because this had been talked about for a long time. It was all over social media. People were planning this and that. And they had just an insufficient number of law enforcement there. And so the only reason that I can think of for that is because they knew these people were going to be mostly white and they just didn't see them as a threat. They're like, yeah, they're going to be angry. We're going to let them come and say what they need to say and they're going to go home. They're not going to be violent. But the whole intent of these people coming there was to be violent.
Yeah. Paul, anything to the contrary?
No, nothing contrary. I mean, but Ryan, like, I mean, I got a question for y'all. Like, where do y'all think we go from here, man? Like, what do y'all think is next? Do you think we're gonna have more of this before the 20th, after the 20th, or I mean, what's y'all sense right now?
They've promised that this is going to happen again. I think they may try to come up there for the inauguration day on whatever that is, the 20th. And so that'll be an issue. I guarantee they'll be more prepared. They may not even let anybody close to that area. And if they're smart, they won't.
I mean, really, but this is going to be an unusual year because they're most inaugurations you're going to have some kind of crowd, but this year you're probably going to have no crowd, right? Because
they're going to shut that down. They're not having that.
Yeah, so
because of the insurrection, they're not going to have anything. They will probably shut all that down. We know the Capitol Police Chief resigned. One Capitol Police officer committed suicide. I don't know why. So I know there's some investigation currently into was there any collusion? We don't know. I don't know if we'll ever find out, but I guarantee this won't happen again. Every senator that was there realized that their butt was on the line that day. Like if your life is on the line, they don't care what party you in when they run up in there. It could be you because they don't know everybody there. They know Nancy Pelosi because they hate her, so they put her picture everywhere. But if you just some no-name dude from Wisconsin or Ohio, don't nobody know you. So they might snatch you up thinking you somebody. So they'll do what needs to be done, I assume, and make sure that everybody stays far, far away from an inauguration. All that scaffolding and all that, that's coming down. They ain't finna be up in there like that.
Now, did y'all see, I'm sure you saw the photos or the videos of the black officer who kind
Yes.
of
Let him
everybody
away.
was chasing him through the Capitol.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if this is true. I didn't really have time to fact check because it was right before the podcast. But what I saw, I think Sean King had posted that, I guess the backstory of that was that cop sort of saw that the senators had not been secured yet. Like he, looked around the corner and saw that they were still kind of rushing him out. And so he purposely sort of led this mob on a wild goose chase away from the senators so
really?
they would have time to get to safety. So I don't know if any of y'all saw that or if y'all believe that, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
I
saw
have
that.
not seen that. Okay. That's interesting. And that makes sense, man. I mean, that's part of his job. I don't care what side of the aisle you sit on. I don't want anybody running up in there and doing anything to anybody over some votes. Like, vote. That's your job. Other than that, man, you can protest, but you ain't got to be running up in the building. Don't be breaking in the doors. None of that stuff. That's uncalled for. We ain't animals. We supposed to be a democracy, and that's just not how we should be doing anything.
I know that'd be a sick feeling. I mean, that just shouts at that dude
Right.
for just having a level head and because
You don't get paid enough for that.
you see that man, you see him walking up like 3 flights of stairs, the big, it's kind of grand concourse type stairs, and there's just hundreds of people down below him. And, one dude's like right in his face, and he's kind of like swatting the little stick at him or whatever like that. But like, man, that's got to be a weird feeling to have, like, to just see like the whole staircase, 3-4 floors of it just coming at you, and you're the only dude,
Right.
you're the only defense. There ain't nobody behind you. You just keep.
And from the story I saw, it was a lot of N words being thrown out, all that kind of stuff. So, this dude feared for his life at this point. I'm surprised more people didn't get shot, man. I know we all say if it was black people there would have been more shooting. I guarantee there would have been.
Oh, definitely.
But the fact that none of these people, as angry as they looked and the things they were saying, didn't get shot, I don't know. Because once they're coming through the windows, I know the one lady did get shot. But once you're coming through the windows and you're into the chamber, like, if you're the Capitol Police, you got to assume, like, yo, start shooting.
Yeah,
That would have made it a lot worse. I don't know where it would have went.
I'm surprised those dudes didn't have guns. I know DC's got real strict gun laws, but I'm surprised.
Well, they did inside the chamber. That's the only pictures we got of people with guns that I've seen.
But that's you're talking about security and stuff like that. You're not talking about I'm talking about the protesters.
Oh,
the
okay.
protesters, they had guns.
But they didn't use.
I didn't see anybody with a gun out.
You didn't hear about nothing. At least we haven't yet heard anybody shooting off rounds in there. I mean, why not?
Right.
Yeah.
There was some talk of being some possible bullet holes, but I don't know. I didn't go back. That was during the live footage, so things changed. But that's still, man, it was a crazy day. I can't believe that happened, and hopefully it never happens again. I know because of it, we've had the windfall of Trump. I did want to talk about his statement, because during all the live feeds, I'm sure y'all saw, it was just like, Trump needs to come out and say something. He's got to say something. He's got to tell his people to bow down, because I don't know about y'all, but I didn't see any Joe Biden flags out there. I only saw Trump flags and tread on me flags and all the people who we said were racist all this time, right? It was the same people that I teach my children to stay away from. Confederate flags, don't tread on me flags, and the United States flag, unfortunately. So we got all those flags flying, and those are the people that are participating in this. But when the president finally came out, he gives his statement, and he says exactly what we expected him to say, because we keep saying this dude is racist.
Right.
I got to find this piece that he said, because I wanted it, because that was the real.
Love you. He was like, "We love you. Go home."
Yes. We love you. You're special. Go home. But the one part that I got to that nobody has, at least I didn't hear anybody talk about it, was the fact that he said, what they do to people who do things like this in the past, those evil, what did he call them? He said evil, bad people, which of course he's talking about the Black Lives Matter protests.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that all those people are evil and bad people, but for some reason you're special and we love you.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I mean, it's all.
Man, this dude we knew he was off his rocker, but he just don't care anymore. So he's basically inciting a riot every time he speaks.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And the craziest part to me, which again was completely expected, but when he comes out to give this speech to try to calm the people down, of course, the first thing he's talking about is, it was rigged. They cheated, the election was stolen,
Right.
but we won by a landslide. We won by a lot, but you should just be peaceful anyway. And it's like he just can't speak without spewing those lies. Like, dude, you lost. Like,
right.
you lost.
Part of me, I think on some level he knows it, but there's part of me also thinks like the dude is so crazy, like, and he's been getting fed so much bad information from the bad people around him that he might actually believe this crazy stuff. And when you heard that Georgia call, he sounded like a whiny little kid. Like, no, you did. No. I mean, he's delusional, man. But I mean, he might live in an alternate reality, but he really believes that this stuff really happened to him.
Yeah, it's the narcissism in him. Yeah. The narcissism, like, he doesn't believe that he's capable of losing. He doesn't think it's possible. He thinks if he loses, it had to be because someone cheated him.
Well, that's also because that's what he does every time. Like when he lost like one primary in 2016 to Ted Cruz, and he claimed that primary was rigged. He said all the same lies that he's telling right now. He said the same thing then about losing the one primary to Ted Cruz in 2016. He's done, and he just like he'll say the same thing when he lost like an Emmy or an Oscar or whatever. I guess it was Emmy, for his TV show. He said, "Oh, it's rigged." I mean, that's his standard thing. He's done that his whole career. It's a pattern.
I know he didn't think he was going to get an Emmy for for the TV show. Come on.
Oh, I'm sure they hand out Emmys like candy, man, for those little shows. Yeah, but I don't know. But okay. So let's move on because we run up an hour. Like, what do y'all think about the him getting banned and a bunch of his supporters getting banned from Twitter? Is that some people are arguing that this is censorship and free speech, and I just want to get your thoughts. And Phenom, maybe I'll toss off to you first.
Well, of course, I'm happy he's gotten banned. I've thought that he has skirted social media, rules, and they've sort of allowed him because he was the president and said that. And I understand that sentiment is like, all right, he's a president. Let him say what he's going to say because it's a matter of record. But I mean, he's been talking reckless for 4 years. But even then, this is something different. Like,
that's way more.
This is an active attempt. Like, I believe this is a coup. Like, this is an insurrection. You're literally starting violence with your words. So I think you have to silence him. And so I think Twitter finally did. Like, I think Twitter, they have been marking his tweets saying, this is disputed. This election fact is disputed. Like, I feel like they should have been like, this fool lying. Like, this is a lie. This is not true. No, So I'm good with them banning him because he clearly was not going to relent on his message. And so, but it's just crazy to see, after they have kind of defended him or given him a pass so many times, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest banned him. Like, what is Trump doing on Pinterest? The more interesting thing that I kind of want to talk about, and Ryan, you can give your thoughts on the social media stuff first, but I want to talk about the Parler element of it. But Ryan, what do you think about just the general social media ban?
I know that he needed to be banned, so I don't feel bad about it. It needed to be done at that point in time. He's already shown us that he's incapable of handling this like a mature adult. Or he is handling it like a mature adult, but a mature adult who wants to destroy the country and take power. So when you're leading that many people, and I'm going to say leading that many people because 70-something million people voted for him. This is not like only 7 million voted. Half of the country voted for him. So half of them still ride with him regardless for everything that he did before November. So if you're still riding then, you're probably still riding now. So I'm going to just play it cautious and say, yeah, get him off the mic. We can't have him out there because he can say anything he wants and some crazy fools are going to start doing it. If he says attack a certain target, they would do it. So even if he can only wield the power over crazy folks, I still don't want anybody to be hurt over it. So in that case, yes, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that, they liable. Cut his mic, and then he can't say anything. I know I did not watch Saturday Night Live, but I figured they got so many skits off with this dude fuming, wanting to say all these crazy things, holding long meetings that never end because he can't get the word out of any of the crazy stuff he's saying right now.
Yeah.
So on to the Parler thing. So, Parler, for people who aren't familiar or weren't familiar before this, is sort of it's a social media site where they basically let you say whatever you want. It's like no moderation, just free speech. Of course, far right-wing groups have kind of embraced that. It was sort of seen as like the anti-Twitter because, again, they were marking Trump's tweets saying, this information is not true, or they would remove people's tweets who were just spreading lies. And so Parler was this place that you could say whatever. You want to say the N-word, you can say the N-word. If you want to say you love Hitler, you can say you love Hitler. Like, they literally anything goes. But even they have kind of run into some issues. Google banned them. Apple banned them. At least the apps, they took their apps off of their app stores. And then now I think Amazon, who was sort of hosting their website or hosting the back end of their website, is booting them off too. So now Parler's, kind of scrambling to find another host so people can still access it. What do you think about that? And Trump joined Parler when he got booted off of Twitter. He joined Parler. So had y'all heard about that? And what do y'all think about them kind of getting shunned by everybody?
Yeah, I heard about it. I don't feel bad. Parler is actually owned by like the super conservative family that's like a big supporter of Trump and a bunch of like conservative stuff. So that was they I mean, it's been around for a few years, but obviously it kind of pales in comparison to Twitter. But it's always been kind of endorsed as the alternative to Twitter, the conservative alternative to Twitter. So I mean, it was started designed for conservative minds, and yeah, now it's all blown up in their face, man. So I don't feel bad for them because, man, it's just like I don't know, man. Like look, man, we all are into some weird stuff or like that, but like nobody needs to hear all this hatred and if people are planning like coup attempts, planning like mass murder, no, man, like you need to have some kind of moderator on there. And I think that's really what all this is about. Because like I think we'd all be foolish if we think that these people aren't. If they saw how far they got this first time, like if they really come back with some real force. Like what they can do, and they're definitely planning on it. So yeah, man, you gotta shut these things down because that's where all that stuff. That's all that discussion is taking place at, man. Although part of me does say like we want a record of it so we can, because it's pretty easy to track these fools down because they're all on social media and live streaming themselves and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm never gonna be on Parler. I don't want to partake in that type of world, man. It's weird to me, man.
Yo, I'll sometimes go on like. Box One Poppy, I know you are on Reddit as well, or at least you dabble in Reddit. And I just recently kind of learned of the conservative subreddit, and I go in there sometimes, just like turning to Fox News just to see what they're talking about, like what nonsense they're talking about. I'll go in the conservative subreddit, and it's just like it is like an alternative universe, the way that people talk. And
you should have seen like they used to have this site. I was on Reddit years ago, and there was in 2016 they had this forum was called the Donald, and it was like all Trump supporters, and like it was just insane, and it was really popular. At least it could have been a lot of bots or whatever like that, but man, it was basically dominating Reddit for a while, and I'm sure it was all bots and stuff like that, but it was just insane, crazy stuff. I mean, it was that was a wild era. I think they got rid of that. I think they banned that subreddit a while ago.
Now, have either of you felt unsafe, or has all this sort of melee that's happened, have you had any instances where whether you've been out, I know we kind of stay home for COVID, but just where you felt uncomfortable or felt like what happened in the Capitol made, reach to your porch at some point?
My porch?
Well, not specifically, but
I've thought about it, but that's just kind of the person I am. So I don't think anything would change. But once this dude got elected, already threw all that stuff out the window with the kumbaya. Like, oh, it's more regular people than it is possible racists, because now there's way more possible racists. So that's the only thing changed for me. I think I'm probably looking at everybody more funny. I mean, I kind of pulled my circle in even tighter. Like, if I don't know what you if I don't know you, I ain't rocking with you. Period. So you got to prove me otherwise.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I mean, I live like in a mostly white area, so, but I know my wife, I talked to her the other day and she was like, yeah, we need to go get another gun or something like that. So she was telling me the other day, just when we were watching, just the other day when we were talking about the news, and it's just like, because I just think, man, it's kind of like a mixed race couple type thing. And if anybody try to give her trouble, it's going to be a problem. So, it's kind of affluent out here. So I don't know. Most people are kind of respectful of themselves. I went to the playground today with the kid. It was just me and the two kids went to the playground right next to the house. And I seen like a couple come out, get out like a minivan and walk over there. I wasn't thinking nothing too much of it. It was like a mixed race couple. And you don't really see too many of those around here. But the white chick, she had a MAGA sweater on, man. And I was like, with a black dude. And I was like, oh, man, I was just looking at him like, oh, man, you a straight sucker. She wasn't even hot either, man. She was like bottom barrel, man. This is like 6th tier white woman. And I was like, man, you got to let her walk around with the MAGA shirt on. And you got little kids with her, mixed race kids with her, man. Like I'm sure he was MAGA too, but I was like, man, y'all some weird dudes. I was like, let me get up out of this playground for y'all. Don't bring your kids around my kids. That's what I was thinking right while it was going on. But no, man, I don't think nobody's gonna bother me or nothing like that. But it does cross my mind, like, man, just the the intolerance is out there, and yeah, man, you never know, man. Some people just start doing crazy stuff. Like, hey, it's gonna start offing people, man. You just never know, man. I mean, it could almost be like a DC sniper situation or something like that, man. It's kind of all the things that kind of freak me out a little bit, man. Just me going on walks, and you never know. Like, hey, people don't want that dude. And actually, I had a coworker who was Puerto Rican. Her husband's Puerto Rican, and they kind of got into it at like a gas station this weekend with some like dudes, and they live near DC, and it was like some Harley dude. Maybe he was coming back from the rally. We don't really know, but he just kind of he overheard dude speaking Spanish on his phone to like his mom or whatever like that while they were gassing up. And the dude kind of freaked on him. And so then they had to like have some words and stuff like that. And so, yeah, man, I don't know, man. It's little things like that. You just kind of hear little stories, but so far nothing to me, but it definitely crossed my mind. What about you, Phoenix?
You got a lot of audacity. I always think about that. Like the audacity that you have to approach a person because they're speaking a different language, whether it's Spanish, right, French, whatever, Creole, like, for you to be offended by that, for you to feel like, oh, this is America, you shouldn't speak any other language other than, man, if you don't get out of here.
Right. Yeah, man. People don't care though, man. I mean, it's that hatred, for whatever reason, it runs deep. It's probably been passed down generation to generation. It's not like you just woke up one day and you was racist. Like, somebody told you to be racist and you went ahead and decided that you was going to be racist too. And here we are. I think the good thing is a lot of the people who may have been capable of doing these type of heinous acts that we're talking about probably went to the Capitol building. And so therefore we do have footage of them and they will be charged with something. So maybe we'll get them off the street sooner or later. I know the shout out to the dude with the buffalo head on.
No shots to that dude.
He had the coolest costume. He's been repping for a long time, apparently. But hey, if you're gonna do some insurrection, you gotta be funny about it, man. You gotta wear the buffalo thing. I saw a dude with a handyman costume on. He was out there with the all red and the cape. But we got all them dudes on film. So everybody that was around anything that bad happened, and unfortunately, since there were people who were killed, like, I don't know how far they'll extend it, but hey, we got some unsolved, I guess some murders, some murder cases, and some people gonna get charged with that.
Good, man. But what's interesting, man. These are all going to be federal charges, and what's going to happen in the next 10 days. Trump can issue any pardon he wants, any federal charge. Okay, let's just take a bit again.
They won't charge until he's gone.
He can issue a pardon without charge being filed, and it still works.
Really?
Yes.
They who was it? Gerald Ford.
Never heard that.
all the Vietnam, the people who skipped Vietnam.
That was Carter. Carter pardoned all the draft dodgers, but Ford pardoned Nixon, and Nixon was charged.
So Trump could do that and say anybody involved in, the insurrection or the protest, I'm sure he would call them, all of them are pardoned.
But if nobody's willing to file his paperwork, he can't really do it. Like if the secretary refuses to type that up, then he can't do it.
No,
if nobody passes on that information, he still can't do it. I don't know to what extent they want to do that, but yeah,
that person, if that's what the case is and he's pardoned,
I think there's a good chance that he pardons all these people before just as a final FU to everybody. In addition to pardon himself, but I guarantee he pardons. He's just doing wild stuff, man. He's giving like medals of freedom to people that like don't deserve. He's giving a medal of freedom to Bill Belichick. Like, all right, man, that dude's a great coach. We get it, man. But you're just trying to get an easy win. It's just insanity, man.
I never realized that, man. But pardoning somebody off a fresh murder, that's crazy.
And the crazy thing about it is because, like Boxman Poppy said, it was in D.C., it was on the Capitol. Yeah. It's on all TV. Federal. So if there
might be some local charges, but it's gonna be more. There might be some local charges, but not, the federal stuff is gonna be the big stuff. And yeah, right. Conspiracy. Any kind of conspiracy charge. These things. It could be a big problem. Hey, let me run for a second, guys. I'll be back in a minute.
The one thing we've learned throughout this whole situation is the founding fathers, they kind of set up a nice system here. Like, I think it's doing like our legal system, not the legal system, but the branches of government and making sure that there's not too much power for just the president. Like, we've seen it in action now for real. Like, we've always heard them say, well, you can't do this and you wouldn't be able to do that. You really can't. So we got the craziest dude we probably will ever have. Knock on wood. So we see how it works, and hopefully, I guess we need to fix this little pardon system. Like, yo, you can't pardon certain things. I don't need you pardoning a fresh murder, dog. Like, no, you can't do that. So we got to fix these pardon powers.
But the thing is, you actually got two of the craziest people that we will have seen, or two of the evilest. I wouldn't even say craziest, although Trump definitely is one of the craziest. But Mitch McConnell is one of the evilest. He has broken a ton of like traditions and practices and norms of the Senate, as the Senate Majority Leader. And so that's how he was able to like block the Obama Supreme Court pick, Merrick Garland, because he did something that nobody had ever done before. Like, normally if there's a nomination, you put it to a vote. Well, he refused to put it to a vote. And so the fact that you get both of them out of there, and I know you started off kind of saying 2021 is, the director's cut of 2020, but I do think that 2021 is good. We're going to see Trump out of office one way or another. We got to see Ossoff and Warnock win in Georgia, which gives the Democrats control of the Senate, which again gets McConnell out of that majority seat where he blocks so much stuff. Like, I think 2021 is off to a promising start. The Capitol stuff is crazy, of course. Hopefully that will result in Trump being banned, sort of not just from social media, but from running again. They're talking about impeachment. If they do impeach him again, if it is successful, he can't run or hold any significant office. So that would be great. And even though it took a hell of a lot to get there, a lot of craziness and scariness and unfortunately lives lost, and again, it also, a lot of people talk about it damaged his family name. So Ivanka and Jared Kushner and his sons, like all of them.
Don't try to bring a Trump up in here to vote for him. They're going to be like Jared Bush and them.
Not so much anymore.
Yeah. Be like the Bushes for a minute. Yo, look at that Trump now and looking back at Bush, you're like, you know what, Bush may not be that bad.
Right.
That's crazy. We just like, yo, President Bush was a pretty good president. Because we didn't agree with the stuff he was doing sometimes, but yo, he wasn't ridiculous. He wasn't a big baby. Like he wasn't literally out here just doing illegal stuff.
Right.
Man, do we have enough to bring charges on Trump for real? Like real charges, not nothing that's gonna just be we just charge him just to charge him. I mean, something that would stick. I thought that maybe he could get an inciting a riot type stuff with him saying the things that he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot there to charge him. And remember, he's going to face charges from like New York, and he's going to face charges from different states and different attorneys general after he gets out of office regardless. But in this instance, yes, there's evidence out there, but the fact that he did this stuff as president and that he has, a lot of lackeys sort of in these appointed positions of power, like that's what shielded him. So who knows if anything is going to stick from this? Like Boxman probably say, if he pardons himself or if he pardons all the people involved in it, who knows? That's going to be another fight. But he's going to have a lot of legal trouble when he gets out of office one way or another. So,
yeah, we definitely going to see what the extent is of the presidential pardon. Can you pardon yourself? How long, once you are convicted of a crime, are you able to pardon yourself? Like, I don't really know how that works because we haven't had anybody up in there tripping like that where we had to check and see. But it'll definitely be one for the record books.
Yep.
Or history books.
So,
all right.
I guess that's enough on that. I do still want to do the whale story. I know we've been on for
whale story. Okay, cool.
I think we can end it on something other than this mess.
All right, let me pull it up. Okay. So just because I wanted to throw out some interesting stories here, I ran across a story on Goldcast. I don't know if y'all ever see that. I always see it in my feed. This was December 23rd article, but there was a fisherman in Thailand, and they said he came across some floating gold. And when you read through the story, it's not actually gold, no, but it is something else far more valuable. They said that he discovered something called ambergris. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, like amber and then GRIS, ambergris. It says it's a rare secretion from sperm whales, and they use it in expensive perfumes like Chanel No. 5, and they said it could net this fisherman millions of dollars. Can you believe this? So just some random piece of something that comes out of sperm whales. Apparently it floats, and if you find it, hey, it's worth a lot of money. It's been come to known as whale vomit. They don't really know exactly where it comes from. This one they found, it was 220 pounds. So, getting that kind of find, just being a local fisherman, they said that it was worth maybe $3.2 million. Possibly. He's already got an offer, like soon as he got back to the shore, I guess. Whatever these Thailandese baht. I don't know what a baht is, but it says $960,000. I'm assuming that's like $960,000 since they said it's worth 3.2. So if that's your first offer, player, you about to get paid.
Right.
So I want to throw that story in there, man, because it was cool. It's just got an alcohol in it. It's odorless alcohol, so all the perfumes want to get some. So when it's available, they run out to get it.
So now my question is to all the rich people out there wearing Chanel No. 5. Like, do y'all know it's got vomit in it? Is that something you know? Is that why you buy it? Like, oh, this has this whale vomit. When you first said whatever ambergris, I thought ambergris, whatever it is, I thought you were trying to say hamburger in Spanish. Like,
no,
but no, it's crazy, man. Like. And I wonder how this guy even knows. I mean, I guess if he's a fisherman.
He's a fisherman. I think everybody just know what it is. Like, yo, if you ever find some of this, like, this is the thing you want to keep.
Yeah. I mean, if I would have came across that, I mean, I would have been like, look, what's this trash? Like, move this crap out the way.
Exactly, man. Like, what is this? It looks gross. Like, man, steer the boat away from this. And we would have lost out on 3.2 mil.
Right. So
But shout out to that dude.
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's the things in nature and really the things that sell for so much money. Like if you ever even think of why did diamonds sell for such a ridiculous amount of money? I mean, we know it's coal and,
Because you can't find them.
there's pressure and yada, yada. But, people pay 50, 100, 200,000, millions of dollars for diamonds. Well, it's just basically a shiny rock.
right. But hey, it's a shiny rock that even though now we found quite a bit of it, but it's still one of the most rare things on the planet. So if you can't just go out in your backyard and dig it up, then it's worth something to somebody, especially if it's pretty.
That's it, because now they can make diamonds. Like they can take coal or whatever and just put a bunch of pressure on it, and you can just make sort of artificial, or not artificial, but
that's trash.
Laboratory controlled diamonds. And so
that's trash. You don't want the fake diamonds, man. You want the ones that God made.
Why? Who could tell the difference other than like a diamond person who you put that little thing on your eye, like somebody who's trained to use that for many years? They're the only person that could tell.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, nobody really knows. I mean, you could go to a bunch of jewelers, and I bet a bunch of people got on some CZs. You got some cubic zirconia. I remember back before we got married, I was like, yo, we probably should just get some CZs. Nobody will know. I joked about it. I wouldn't want to do that, but yeah.
Wife shut that down real quick, huh?
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't do that anyway. I don't want to pretend like it's something, but hey, if it was just glass, I thought it didn't mean anything. I thought it was just it's a symbol of our love. That's what it is. It's not about the hunk of diamond on there and how much that's worth, But yeah, man, I also thought it was crazy that the fact that somebody found this whale vomit so long ago and was like, hey, there's an alcohol in here that's odorless we could use for the fragrance industry.
Right.
That in and of itself is crazy. I'm sure some scientist was just trying to see what it was and figured that out. But yeah, man, apparently they just every now and then they're floating around. Somebody finds them.
Right. So whales, when y'all sitting up here having too much OE, somebody get rich.
Yep. All right. So Boxwine Poppy, you back on, man. Did you want to comment on this whale vomit and how you can make $3.2 million off about 200 pounds of it?
I'm not touching any of that. I don't know what kind of sticky white substances y'all are messing with, but I'm not involved in this story, so keep me out of it.
All right. So, Phenom, if the people would like to peruse the oceans to see if they can find their own whale vomit, where can they call us to give us our piece of the founder's fee?
If you want to reach out to us, and my 2021, my sole resolution is going to be to start updating the social media and the stuff like that, because I had definitely fallen off on that. But we're going to get back at it. But you can email us, first of all, if you have any ideas, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions. We are at the blackdelegatespod@gmail.com. You can also head on over to Facebook, find the Black Delegates Podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe to that page. Or we're on Twitter and Instagram at Black Delegates. There's an underscore between Black and Delegates. You want to follow us individually, I am at Ghetto Phenom on Twitter and Instagram. The Black Ryan is at The Black Ryan on Twitter and Instagram. And Boxwine Poppy is on Twitter at Boxwine Poppy, unless he got banned with Trump and all of the alt-right cronies. Boxwine Poppy, if people want to help out the show, if they want to help us to grow, maybe we can get some of those Trump followers now that he's gone and they need a place to go. Maybe we can increase our audience with the Trumpers. How can we do
that? Are you on mute?
I'm on mute. Sorry. Sorry, I had to start myself on mute. Hey, look, Donald Trump, we've been talking a lot of smack about you, but we just want to invite you, man. If you want to come on the podcast, man, get your word out through us, man.
Right, we'll let you on.
We're gonna talk stuff about you to your face, but we let you on. It's all good. And yeah, man, if you want to make this podcast grow, man, get on Parler, create you a Parler account, and send it out to all the racist people so they can yell at us, and our mentions will be filled with nothing but like pointy Ku Klux Klan hats and stuff like that. Yeah, man, that'd be great. But no, man, just tell a friend. Tell me you like the show, and also send us some feedback, man. Let us know what you think about it, and it's all good, man. I hope everybody has a good 2020.
Set up that Parler page. We got to get on there.
We are not getting on that. There's one thing we are not going to do.
All right. Appreciate it. Till next time. And we will be back next week. So we back at it. Appreciate y'all for listening.
Yep. See y'all next week.
So did he really not see when he gave you to me? From the birds in the heavens to the fish in the sea, did he not see it now? This time so absurd when I be singing this song. Oh, this song about the end of the world. 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 So for thousands of years we've ruled over this planet, and we've fucked up the land and the sea and the sky while we were at it, and as the animals died, oh how our teddy bears, oh they cried, as we lapped up the oh so convenient mistruths of our great leaders' lies. Say economy this and democracy that. Pay into your pensions, get old and get fat, 'cause the top 1% are the top 1%, 'cause the economy is screwed and democracy is bent in favor of men in their silicon dens who harvest our dreams and sell them for rent. 'Cause the truth of our nature they captured in data, but please rest assured their algorithms, they don't hate you, they're just here to help with your everyday need by choosing what you want to see, hear and feel. So maybe God knew all the while in the great defense of Gaia he'd choose for our destruction an algorithm messiah. So in the last breath of life, just remember who is holding the knife at the end of the world. At the end of the world. At the end of the world. The end of the world.